Welcome back to Beyond the Line of Scrimmage. I'm Montana. That is Minx. We are here today, a couple days out from the national championship, Ohio State against Notre Dame. We're here to talk to you guys today about some keys to the game, position group advantages, and then, of course, we'll make our final predictions. Hopefully, we get those right. But before we do that, make sure to like the video, make sure to comment on the video, make sure to subscribe, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram. TikTok, will it be up by the time this video's up? Who knows?
All right, I am covering the keys for Notre Dame here. And man, it was a lot nicer, when we had the full video recorded, we had a nice flow going into it, but right now we're just going right into it.
Yes.
So, my first big key of the game for Notre Dame is if they want to win this game, they got to be able to run the ball. They got a three-headed monster. Jeremiah Love, the main guy, over 1,100 yards on the season, 17 touchdowns, averaging over 7 yards a carry. This dude is a dog. He's got heart. He plays till the whistle blows. This is what this Notre Dame team is. They're physical. They don't give up. Jeremiah Love and the rest of the running game shows exactly that. You take a look at Riley Leonard, a quarterback, has over 850 yards on the ground running the damn ball, 16 touchdowns, averaging 5 yards a carry. Every time you see this man, a quick pass play, roll out, puts his head down, and gets it done. And you go to the second back, Ja'Carrion Price. He's got over 700 yards. He's got 7 touchdowns. He averages 6 yards a carry. This running game, they've been slowed down the past couple weeks, but they have still been the bread and butter. We've seen the quick pass game get it going. They throw in this run game. It is explosive. It is powerful. This is what they need, all right? Notre Dame, one of the best rushing teams in the country. They rank third with over 6 yards a carry, 211 yards per game on the ground. That puts them top 15. It's going to be a tough test going against the best defense in the country. It's not going to be just only the rushing attacks that's going to allow them to win, but if they can get positive yardage, create themselves easier scenarios, they don't get behind the sticks on third downs, running the ball is going to be crucial for them to get in this game.
Right. So my keys are a little bit more matchup oriented. Okay. I have Ohio State's wide receivers versus Notre Dame's defensive backs. This is arguably the matchup to watch for. Obviously, we're going to get a lot of man coverage looks out of Notre Dame. I think that was even said today at Media Day. Al Golden said they're going to run man. Okay. So they're not backing down from this fight. They know it's going to be a tough test, especially with the receivers like Jeremiah Smith, like Mike Igbuka. You have to wonder if they're going to do a little bit of mixing and matching with zone shell, maybe a safety over top of Jeremiah Smith. Doesn't seem like a safe play to just play strictly one-on-one all night. So that's my first key to the game.
My second key to the game, I said this is specifically for Notre Dame, is control and pace with the tempo. This coincides exactly with the run game. Most Notre Dame games, they're averaging 50-50 with time of possession. What wins them the game, though, is their ability to take control of the game off a singular play, one big play, whether it's a turnover, a big run, a big special teams play. As soon as they gain that, they squeeze and squeeze and squeeze. They don't let you go. You can't do anything. So, my thing for Notre Dame is they cannot get behind early. And I'm not talking about, a 10-0. I'm talking getting 3 scores or more, If it's 14-0 and Ohio State's flying, I'm concerned. But if it's 17-0, I'm starting to get worried for Notre Dame. This team does not have the passing attack to come back and just come in and take this game. So if Notre Dame can get their running game going, get their quick passing game going, just be consistent. Don't get behind. Be consistent. Take an early lead. That'll be crucial. Because once Notre Dame has a lead, they can start to coast a little bit on offense and let the defense do its work.
Yep.
That is what they've done the past few weeks. If this starts turning into a shootout via Ohio State, Notre Dame has no chance.
My second key to the game is going to have to be the offensive line of Ohio State versus the defensive line of Notre Dame. Okay. Ohio State's run game, not as good as we thought coming into the season. Obviously, you have great running backs. That's never been the problem. The problem is your offensive line is either a little banged up. Obviously, you don't have Seth McLaughlin from Alabama. It's just not as consistent as you would like it to be for a Chip Kelly-led offense. Chip Kelly is mostly known for being a good running game coach, and it's just not what's happening. You're mostly getting a passing game having to unlock the run game instead of a run game unlocking the passing game, which is usually the other way around. But Notre Dame's obviously injured across both fronts. How will the depth shake out? And we'll get into it later. The position group advantage. I like Notre Dame's defensive line a lot. So that is my second point to the game. I think Ohio State's offensive line and the defensive line of Notre Dame is going to be huge to watch.
My last key point for Notre Dame is the backbone of the team, and that is their defense. They have a top 3 defense, arguably one of the best pass defenses in the country. Very underrated, underlooked. Doesn't get the hype that all the Texas and Ohio State, those teams get. But this team is amazing when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. This is why they're able to come back in so many games. This is why they're able to control the games. They have the second best point per game defense in the country. They only allow 14 points a game, which with their offense, that is perfect for them. That's Iowa-esque, where you don't need to score the ball a lot. You just need to score enough. The run defense is also top 25. And going against this Ohio State team who has elite backs capable of making an explosive play at any time, that is going to be crucial to get Ohio State off rhythm early and then force them into obvious passing situations. Like I said, with this pass defense, this prevents teams from getting back into the game. They play man-to-man. They play one up against you. They've got the athletes to do that. They create havoc. They mess up timings with quarterbacks and receivers. That is what they do best. If they can throw Will Howard off rhythm, force him to throw a couple of ill-advised passes, Notre Dame is right in this game. Notre Dame most likely takes a chokehold on the game. This Notre Dame defense has the best pass coverage in the entire country. Opposing completion percentage, they're ranked number 1. Yards per pass, they keep everything in front of them. Even though they're running man-to-man, everything stays in front of them. The number 2 ranked defense when it comes to that. Cause havoc. They mess up the rhythms between consistent passing offenses, which then also allows their defensive line to go to work. When you've got no one to throw to, the quarterback's either going to throw a bad ball, he's going to throw it out of bounds, or he's going to run. Will Howard's not going to be running too much. If Ohio State goes down early in this game, Notre Dame will be able to rely on that pass defense and hold on the rest of the night. And honestly, I'll get my last point in here. My last thing I had was kind of on top of this. Special teams as well for Notre Dame. We've seen the past few weeks, their special teams just came up clutch. Whether it's a kick return, whether it's literally a field goal. If Notre Dame gets behind early in this game, one big special teams play will shift the momentum. We've seen that multiple times the past few weeks.
Number 3, I thought it would be time of possession, but thinking about it more and more, we know how dangerous this Ohio State offense can be. So I'm not necessarily concerned if Notre Dame has more time of possession, because Ohio State can just take some deep shots and they can beat you over the top pretty early. My number 3 key to the game would have to be what you just mentioned, and that's the Notre Dame special teams. Okay. Obviously, I think the majority of us are assuming that Ohio State's going to win. So we're talking from a point of this is what Notre Dame has to do so that they can also have a chance to win. And that's kind of like what you guys heard from these keys to the game. Special teams is obviously very important. The least talked about group in the sport. Can they find scores from special teams? They've done it the past few weeks, like you said. Can they get great field position off kickoffs, off punts, off, maybe even a missed field goal turns into a kick 6? Who knows? You know what I mean? Just any random advantage you can find, you'll need it. Okay. All these points, they're going to be hard to come by, especially against that Ohio State defense. You're going to need these points. Okay. So my 3 keys to the game: Ohio State's wide receivers versus Notre Dame's defensive backs, Ohio State's offensive line versus Notre Dame's defensive line, and Notre Dame special teams. Okay. Defense and special teams for Notre Dame. Ohio State's offense will be the key to their win. We have a segment we want to do. Okay. We want to list the team's advantage in the positional groups. Okay. So we'll do quarterback, running back, wide receiver, O-line, D-line, linebackers, defensive backs, and of course, special teams.
For me, my pick is Will Howard. He's got the weapons. He is going to be the guy that controls this game. All right. The way this game ends up going is going to be because of Will Howard. Riley Leonard will have a say in that, but Will Howard is going to dictate what game this is. With the way Will Howard has played so far in the playoffs, I have no doubt that this is the guy to watch. He's the guy in control of this Ohio State offense. He'll find his guys. He's got all the tools to play with. He's just got to make it happen. But the more I thought about this as well, I think Will Howard is easily the better passer.
Yep.
But in terms of overall quarterback, it's not just throwing the ball. All right, it's the IQ. It's having the ability to have grit and fight for when stuff isn't there. Notre Dame doesn't have the most talented wide receiver room in the world. We don't hear about their wide receivers too often, other than last week. It's mainly this run game. And with Riley Leonard's running ability, that puts him right up there with Will Howard. He may not have the arm talent or receiver talent that Will Howard has, but he's got that dude in him. He's got that dog in him, all right? He's going to go make something happen regardless if it's there or not. But in terms of how I think the game is going to go, I think it is entirely depending on how Will Howard and this Ohio State offense ends up playing.
And for me, it kind of comes back to what we were talking about before when the playoffs first started, is Will Howard's confidence. I mean, if he plays with confidence, we know that Ohio State is going to be through the roof on offense. But if he doesn't, and he kind of showed that a little bit last week against Texas, where he threw some picks, some balls were bad. I mean, he had some defenders jumping routes. We're kind of unsure what this game's going to look like. Obviously, he can get into rhythm, and we've seen that happen, especially last week. If you're taking a running threat, you're going to take Riley Leonard. But if you need a passing threat, if you need a guy that's going to get you a touchdown to those wide receivers, it's obviously going to be Will Howard. Put this also on my notes. Okay, I said if you need a backup, though, and no disrespect to those 5-stars they got in that quarterback room at Ohio State, give me Steve and Jelly to come in 6 of 7 last week. Got him a field goal before half. Okay, so I'll say that. Let's move on to the running back room. Probably the most stacked room of both of these teams. They kind of match eye for eye here. What do you think?
So I think everyone has an answer here based off of talent. But I agree with that, but mine's also based off of production and importance of the team in terms of reliance and how important it's going to be. So my answer is clearly, and I mean clearly, Notre Dame. Now, if we're comparing directly talent, I'm throwing Ohio State in there. I'm taking TreVeyon Henderson, who's been balling out the past few weeks. But this Notre Dame team runs the damn ball. They run it through Riley Leonard. They run it through Jeremiah Love, Ja'Carrion Price. These are the guys. I think for me, Ohio State's run offense has just been so underwhelming this year, and because of their pass game. All right, their backs have made plays in the passing game, but I'm not as worried about them being the difference makers in this game as I am with the running threats that Notre Dame has. This is where Notre Dame's success comes from. It's the ground game. This is where they get momentum. This is where they control the game. This is the Notre Dame brand of football. This is their bread and butter. Whereas Ohio State is, hey, throw the ball up. My guys are down there. So just going by off of pure production and what importance they have to the team, I am taking Notre Dame's running backs with Jeremiah Love and Ja'Carrion Price.
Okay, I think there's going to be a shocker to anybody watching this, but I do agree with you. I like the importance of Jeremiah Love, Ja'Carrion Price. Also, they have another running back that's really young. It's obviously really close. Like you can say it's clear, but it's obviously really close. If you need a passing threat out of the backfield, you're probably going to take Ohio State's running backs. They're probably used better in the passing game than Notre Dame has been able to use them. Obviously, the importance of Jeremiah Love, Ja'Carrion Price in Notre Dame's offense. You got Riley Leonard. You got a triple threat, and you need to use that against Ohio State in this defense. If it starts to work, then that's where you start to work in terms of getting points. If it doesn't work, then it's probably a ball game for Notre Dame. Let's move on to the wide receiver room. Do we think there's any advantage?
We're good to go. It is Ohio State. Yeah, man. Hell no. I'm respect to Notre Dame. You're going against the best unit in the country. All right. Carnell Tate, Jeremiah Smith, Emeka Buka. Throw in your grandmother in there, and guess what? They got it. All right.
That's fair. Moving on to the O-line.
Notre Dame offensive line is more physical than Ohio State. I think that they may struggle more than Ohio State's line, but I think that Notre Dame has overall, in my opinion, more talent. I think they're more physical. I mean, have you seen their chant that they do together before every single game?
No.
3, 2, 1, fuck! That's literally what they do. I'm dead serious, man. Bro, this is a bunch of wolves, bears on this Notre Dame offensive line. They are there to kill somebody. I'm taking Notre Dame's offensive line over Ohio State's.
I am also going to take Notre Dame's O-line. Okay. I just think they have players that they're able to fill in with injured players. Obviously, depth is a big factor in terms of playing more games. We're seeing it with Ohio State as well. I like Notre Dame's O-line playing for each other, playing for the running backs. The running backs are banged up. It just seems like this group has gelled more and more as the season's gone on. They're moving their injured left tackle. I think he's back for this game. So, you're just getting a boost there, and that's going to cause a morale boost as well. As much as I could be scared about Ohio State's defensive line, I like the adjustments that can be made from Notre Dame's offensive line at halftime. We saw it against Penn State. We saw it against Georgia. And maybe it's a coordinator advantage in terms of halftime adjustments. For me, I'm just going to pick Notre Dame's O-line. I just like them more, like what they're able to do. They have more depth. Let's move on to the opposite side of the ball, the D-line.
I've got Ohio State. I think that they are arguably, if not the best defensive line in the country. You could argue Penn State, but you've got Jack Sawyer, Ty Hamilton, Tyleek Williams, JT Tuimoloau. Those are guys. Those are all guys that are NFL bound. These dudes wreak havoc, all right? I think that this is one of those positions that can easily dictate control. This is the first wave of defense. Stopping the run game for Notre Dame. Ohio State's so damn good on the defensive side of the ball. It's hard for me not to pick them here. I'm going Ohio State.
I am also going Ohio State. I think this is their best group on defense, which is saying a lot because they have a great linebacker group and they also have a great defensive back room. Obviously, all the players, like you said, they're able to get home when they need to. They don't overrush the quarterback. And what I mean by that is when they're rushing the quarterback, I don't mean they go past him. I mean, once they get to his level, they push into him. So I like that for them. There's obviously a lot of blitzes they can come up with the linebackers. The linebackers fill the gaps. Let's get into that right now because I want to talk about the two best linebackers, probably the most underrated linebackers in the country, Cody Simon and Sonny Styles. These guys are dudes. They fill gaps. They close down hard. They tackle well. They do everything well. Okay, so Jim Knowles, props to you. I'm going Ohio State linebacker room.
Let's move on to these DBs here, man.
Let's do it.
And I think everybody is saying, let's go Ohio State. Let's go Ohio State. Well, not so fast, my friend. Ohio State may have some of the best ratings in the country. Well, guess what? So does Notre Dame. This is where Notre Dame's defense lies. I told you they have a top 25 rush defense. Guess what? Their pass defense is top 3 in almost every single metric you look at.
Mm-hmm.
It is the DB play. This Notre Dame defense runs man-to-man. They don't run zone. They run man-to-man. This Notre Dame team has dudes. They're running man-to-man. They have the second best yards per pass play defense in the country, running man. Not zone, running man. That feels insane to me. They've got Xavier Watts. He's going to be the guy that everyone knows. Leonard Moore is a freshman. He's going to be one-on-one going against Jeremiah Smith. This is the guy, the matchup to look at. This is by far the most under-talked about defensive back room in the country. I think they don't get enough credit. They don't get enough hype for what they do.
I also like your answer here. That might be a little scary, but I like Notre Dame's defensive back room. Like you said, probably the most underrated, underrated, whatever you want to say. Xavier Watts, Jordan Clark, Christian Gray, Leonard Moore. They just got dudes everywhere. I mean, they have forced a turnover in every single game but one.
You know, they're averaging 2 turnovers a game, by the way. This defense forces
and
2 turnovers a game.
They give themselves a challenge every single week to be +2 in the turnover margin. Okay? So you saw the game last week against Penn State. Penn State got a pick. All of a sudden, Notre Dame comes back, gives themselves one. This group plays for Al Golden. They love him. He is probably, I mean, in my opinion, might be one of the coaches of the year, coordinators of the year. I'm also going to go Notre Dame defensive back room. Let's move on to the most important group of the game.
Special teams. I think this one's obvious. I mean, in terms of recency bias, call it what you want. Give me Notre Dame. All right? You get a walk-off field goal to win the game before. Your kick has been playing great. Guess what? Previous week, a kick 6. Well, a kickoff first 6, I should say.
Yep.
That's what I need to see. All right? This special teams unit for Notre Dame has been great. They have been literally the reason this team has gotten in games, has won games. This is a momentum shift. Ohio State has yet to rely really on their special teams much at all this year.
Yep.
They haven't been in this situation. Notre Dame has been there. Their special teams, man. They do shit. They get stuff done. Give me Notre Dame.
I agree with you. It's definitely recency bias. We just haven't talked much about Ohio State's special teams at all this year. I can't remember if they have any scores on that side of the field. Notre Dame is the leader in scores on special teams this year. Okay, so they need a score here in this game. Mitch Jeter, 7 of 8 in the playoff. He was over 2 against Northern Illinois. Okay, so confidence rattled to begin the season. He is now near perfect to end the season. Okay, you need him to be perfect on Monday night, January 20th in Atlanta. Do we want to get to our predictions?
Let's get into our prediction. I have jumbled around multiple times on this game. I feel like I'm insane, but I've got Notre Dame winning this game. I believe in Notre Dame. I want it to happen. All right. I'm willing to be wrong. I probably will be wrong. I think if Notre Dame's going to win this game, they got to keep it low scoring, play to their brand of football,
Yeah.
keep everything in front of them, do what they do best. Let the defense ride, score some points. Doesn't have to be a lot. Strangle the life out of Ohio State, get them out of rhythm. I got Notre Dame winning this thing 23. I don't even know the score. I can't do a score. I got 23-17, but man, if Ohio State scores more than 21, I'm hard pressed to think that Notre Dame wins this game.
That is interesting, to say the least. It's kind of the casual answer here, but it's also like Ohio State has so many different ways that they can win this game, and they haven't even showcased all of those ways yet in the playoffs or in the regular season. For all we know, the special teams for Ohio State could be the answer in this game. Like we just talked about with Notre Dame, we thought their group would be better. We haven't heard a damn thing about Ohio State's group. They could be the answer in this game. You could win on defense. They have won on defense as of last week. Offense, they have so many answers, whereas I don't think Notre Dame can meet those answers. I do think Notre Dame could play the best game possible, and I don't think they would win. That's how much I'm emphasizing this Ohio State offense, this Ohio State defense. You would have to play perfect football, and that would still not give you a chance to win this game. Not saying you won't win this game. I'm just saying you have to play perfect, and that's your only chance to win this game. And I am taking Ohio State. I don't think you can play man coverage on this wide receiver room all night long. I would be hard-pressed, pun intended, to see if that can happen, okay? If it does happen, I don't know football, take me out the show, okay? I like Ohio State here. I do like a low-scoring game, okay? So I would like the under in this stance. I would go 21-10. I think 3 scores could do it for Ohio State, but it could also do it for Notre Dame as well. All right, so that is our predictions, our keys to the game, our position group advantages. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on this video. Go check out our shorts. Go check out our other YouTube videos, Instagram Reels, TikTok if it's still up. Make sure you follow us there everywhere we have social media. That is Makes. I'm Montana, and we're out.